Am I supposed to be doing something? Something about France? World. Oh! A project on the French Revolution for world history. Probably should get started on that right now, I suppose. Hello classroom, and welcome to my video presentation on the French Revolution. Now, as you can probably tell, I'm sitting right about over there. Say hi, me. Alright, now let's get to it. And no, don't worry, that hit on the forehead was not as hard as it seemed. Okay, let's start at the very beginning. 1789. And no, I know this is not the very beginning of everything, but it's the very beginning of the French Revolution. So, causes of the French Revolution. 1. France was in debt. I mean, they were in serious debt. For 2 reasons. 1, the American Revolution, and 2, the 7 Years' War. There's also a third reason, which I'll explain in a little bit. Second thing is, the people of France were starving. There's a general famine going on. You know, all the smoke and mirrors and bells and strings and whistles. Third, the nobility are living it up. That's Louis the Schlub right there. Marie Antoinette. Fourth, there's this movement going on, the Enlightenment, like why do we need kings and all that. And fifth, the third estate of France, which is like 98% of France, is paying all the taxes, while the nobility is living lavishly. There's Louis the Schlub again. So, in order to fix some of these problems, they decided to have a meeting. They called it the Convocation of the Estates General, which basically means a meeting of the Estates General. Oh, something I forgot. The 3 estates of France. The first estate is all the nobility. Basically, Louis the Schlub, his wife, and all of the people in the palace who aren't working as peasants. The second estate is the clergy, which is basically all the members of the church that, again, aren't peasants. And thirdly, we have the third estate, which doesn't even get a name, which are basically all the peasants. So these 3 estates meet at the Convocation of the Estates General, and they try to fix these problems. So, they had a vote on how to fix the problem. Now remember, the third estate is 98% of France. One thing they voted on was taxes, and each estate only gets 1 vote. So the third estate said, hey, why don't you guys, the other 2 estates, pay some of the taxes and maybe also feed us? And both the clergy and the nobility, which is 2 separate estates, so they get 2 votes, they're like, nah, how about you pay more taxes? And of course, 2 votes is greater than 1, so sucks for 98% of people in France. So the third estate was really ticked off at this, so they decided to make themselves the National Assembly of France. So they can say, hey, we're the National Assembly of France, so we're going to make all the rules, alright? So there was a break in the meeting, and so when the break was over, then the third estate, the National Assembly of France, tried to get into the room where the other 2 estates were meeting and all that, but the doors were locked, and Louis the Schlub made the excuse, oh, we're just closing it for repairs. So, the National Assembly of France, refusing to be stomped out like this, had to find a place to meet. And you know what the closest large room is? It's a tennis court. And this just goes to show how rich the nobility is, because they could afford an indoor tennis court. So anyway, they met there. So while they were in the meeting, they proclaimed an oath. And because they were in a tennis court, that oath came to be known as the Tennis Court Oath. And in the Tennis Court Oath, they oathed that we're the National Assembly of France. But not only that, we are going to make a constitution for France. This is their main goal. Constitution for France. They had some sympathy for members of the clergy and nobility. And as you can see, there are some richly dressed people in there. See if you can find them. Louis the Schlub thinks, okay, maybe I should stop trying to stop them, or they'll keep going to more extremes, and then I'll have my head chopped off or something. So he says, okay, I'll let you be, I'll let you do this, just to give the illusion that he's cooperating with this. But during all this, people start to notice that there is an army converging on Paris, and his illusion is pretty much blown out the window, because there were troops converging on Paris sent by the king. On top of all that, as if it couldn't get any worse, Louis the Schlub's financial advisor, who's sympathetic to the National Assembly of France, he was like, Louis, maybe you should stop spending so much? So he was fired. So seeing all this, National Assembly of France is like, okay, this is serious. We have to, like, arm ourselves and stuff. So they stormed the Bastille. Now, the Bastille is most famous for being a jail to keep political prisoners. But that's not the real point of them storming the Bastille. After all, there was only, like, 7 prisoners. And that's not a lot. The real point of storming the Bastille is that there were weapons. Lots and lots and lots of gunpowder and weapons. So this is something the National Assembly of France would probably want, considering the circumstances. And that marks the end of this video. On. Tangled Cables, yay! Also, the very first blooper of the show. Video. Okay, alright, we all know about the French Revolution, but I'm just gonna explain about it. Dang it, never mind. No, I'm not using that. There's also a third reason, which I'll explain in a little bit. Yeah. That's Louis the Schlub. Or... what was the fifth reason? Second, we have the So they voted on... Had 2 votes. So the third, they formed themselves, sending, as you can see. Now, yeah, they had some sympathy. There are Louis the Schlub's cover, well, Louis the 16th financial, but that's not the real point of them storming the gap. 7